Oh, right. Well, now everybody's history is coming out because people who lived during the 70s and 80s and 90s had access to so many different forms of cameras and all kinds of things like that. So, turns out Kamala Harris's, her whole background, I was totally correct on this. She's a jet setter. She's quite literally a jet setter. That it moved like half a dozen times across the country because of her mom pursuing her, I believe, oncology degree for cancer research. Which, I mean, it is what it is. You know, people, oh wow, this is so wild. Like, I don't even know how to communicate what this looks like. They just like all appeared out of nowhere and just all came in on this area as I'm talking to you guys. Is like totally tripping me out. See, look at that, the boldness. They're like, you can't see us. How dare you? Look at these guys. They're like, haha. Look at those guys. They're the ones who, you know, we get all of it. That's right. Oh, the mighty crow. He'll outlive us all. Anyway, so, turns out that Kamala Harris was absolutely, just like I said, a jet setter. You know, jetting around, flown to foreign countries once a year to see the grandparents. Grandparents are of, what was it? It was, not Sri Lankan. Tigers? Tamil speaking, Brahmins. So of the highest social category in her society. And it was like her mom had was able to put a down payment on a house that was like, she was able to fundamentally buy a house outright. She had so much money just in the bank. Even though she had been pursuing permanent positions at universities for like years and years and years. And this is an important one, dragging her kids around. And then eventually divorcing the dad in Berkeley. This is really starting to tell. Isn't this weird that we keep dealing with these people who had these weird international jet setter lifestyles, going from university to university, and who's always defending Barack Obama or Kamala Harris or any person kind of like this, that they're not somebody who came up from the bottom, you know, that and so it's all these academics and intellectuals that can't wait to get the words white supremacy out of their mouth in front of a camera and a microphone, you know, to lay blame on whitey, you know, and this is just so tiresome. It's just such this tiresome, like, people who went into the liberal arts and a sociological end of philosophy and stuff, and it hasn't panned out, and they can only sell books to other Democrats, and there's only so long that works. And they're looking at Thomas Sowell, who this guy's like, you know, 80, 90 years old, and he's selling like hotcakes to men who are like 29. And that's like who you have to sell your books to. Like, those are the people who sell your books, keep them. They're the ones who are going to like recommend them to other men, and, you know, and men see it as a very important thing to read because, you know, this guy is very smart and I admire him in a manly, brotherly way, and I want to then read this book he recommended. Things like that, you know. It's yeah, I just was thinking about this, and then Waltz, it turns out, is one of these guys who was a rice king, that he had this fixation on communist China, and this was one, you saw this a lot, like Bernie Sanders is one of these people who bought the revolution, and to them the propaganda looked so good that they were like, yeah, this makes sense. the revolution can work. Look, look at all these cool movies coming out from John Woo, and look at all these cool movies coming out with Jet Li, and so they bought it. They bought into the revolution, and so he's one of these people who he thinks he could bring the revolution here, and but yet he's rich, so and he's got no honor. So it says a lot. All right, later.